ovation!
What an amazing moment. We are blessed.
What is good, guys? So we're going to be taking a look at an article here that was published earlier today where Mercedes Mone speaks on the differences that she sees between WWE and AEW. I don't know if she was speaking this in character or not. This is literally my first time reading the article. Y'all are more than welcome to sound off in the comments and let me know how you feel. For more things of wrestling news and or reaction videos and things like that, drop a like, comment, subscribe. So, also, disclaimer, Mercedes Mone is actually my favorite women's wrestler ever. I like everything that she's done.
You what?
I loved her as Sasha Banks in WWE. I followed her, her wrestling career when she went to New Japan and things like that. She did that match in Stardom. Now she's in AEW. Mercedes Mone has been able to work for both WWE and AEW throughout her long and successful career. Mone departed from the company in May 2022, and they're talking about WWE, to a disagreement with Vince McMahon before going to New Japan the following January. Now, it should also be noted here that no one ever really knows the real reason why Mercedes left. She's going to eventually write a book about it, and when she does, she'll talk about it on there. She has actually said that to people that have been asking through responses in Comic-Con and things like that, where some kid was assuming what the answer was, and he said it to her. He's like, oh, well, you didn't want to work a match against whatever, and Mercedes was like, that's not the reason, and whatever the reason is, I'm gonna write about it in my book. And the guy was just like anyways, so she debuted at Wrestle Kingdom 17 on January 4th, 2023, and then the following year she signed with AEW. Earlier this week, the top AEW star revealed in a newsletter that she planned on being in for WrestleMania 39 in Los Angeles, but then things were changed once President Tony Khan invited her to All In at Wembley Stadium that same year, which is where we saw her sitting on the rafters up top, and she was watching the show. While speaking to The Independent, or with The Independent, I apologize, Mone discussed the differences in the promotions, noting that WWE, you don't know what you're doing week to week. Mone said, quote, "The difference between two companies is night and day. In WWE, you have no idea what you'll be doing week to week. But here, I have a space to be heard. Along with Tony Khan and my friend and personal writer, Jennifer Pepperman, there's time to sit down and really plan out the kinds of stories we want to tell. I'm treated with genuine respect, and I feel seen in a way I sometimes haven't before. I love it so much here." End of quote. It should be noted that when Vince McMahon was in charge, plans would change hourly and even during live shows. However, Triple H has implemented long-term booking, which both talent and fans have praised. So I was actually going to talk about that. I was going to break it down piece by piece, right? So this article, well written, number one. Two, when she speaks about how she didn't know what she was doing week to week, that I actually believe, because other superstars have said the exact same thing on interviews in the past, and they've even praised Triple H for how he handles things long term. Tony Khan has also done something similar where he's got this calendar thing. They showed it on the reality show that they did for AEW. Had this booking calendar where it would show things week to week when Sammy Guevara was asking him. So the show is called AEW All Access, which it should still be available on Max. I'm not sure. I literally canceled my Max subscription because there's nothing of importance on there. I was getting it for free when I worked for AT&T, but then obviously, like I said, if I'm not working there anymore, so I canceled it. But it should be worth noting that Tony Khan does have, for the most part, long-term plans, and there have been maybe times where he does change things, probably due to injuries or even specific things of maybe just huge fan feedback. Triple H has been on record for saying the same thing. He said that he actually watches and reads social media quite a bit during the shows. So it's worth noting that both men do the same thing. I will say in certain instances, Triple H's booking is better. And that's not to discredit Tony Khan. It's just that I think Triple H has a team of people to do things. Whereas Tony Khan, from what I hear from a lot of articles that I've read and just interviews from AEW superstars, he's the end all be all. He'll take consultation from Bryan Danielson and things like that. But even Bryan Danielson himself has said that at the end of the ultimate decision, at the end of it all, is still Tony Khan. Whereas Triple H will, listen to everybody and things like that. Anyways, I'm sure it's the same thing with Triple H, but Triple H has a table of people. We saw it in that YouTube documentary thing for WrestleMania or whatever it was. Now, the other thing that kind of disturbed me about this is that Mercedes says she has her own personal writer. So I don't know how that kind of affects things because it could potentially rub people maybe the wrong way.
I'm not feeling it.
You know, for the most part, my understanding is that AEW doesn't really script their promos. They're kind of more or less probably just giving like bullet points. But if whoever is feuding with her can use the personal writer as well, I think that would be pretty sweet. The thing here though, and you know, the thing here is that Monet did say eventually that she would go back to WWE. And I would assume that she would probably go back under the jurisdiction of Triple H. I don't really think that this is a shot at the entire company, but more so rather Vince McMahon, but she's trying to choose her words very carefully to probably avoid maybe legal issues or something. To me, like if I'm choosing to work somewhere, I'm gonna, you know, if there's certain things that I like about the company, I'm gonna voice it, and that's what she's done here. But the other thing too is that it should be worth noting that a lot of people are gonna say, you only like working there because after a few matches you're double champion and meh. I'm pretty sure when the time is right for her to drop the titles, she will do the right thing. I don't think she's gonna, you know, just randomly quit. You know, how many times did she not drop the titles before and she didn't leave, right? Like the one instance I constantly get reminded of is, well, when she dropped the tag titles at WrestleMania, she ran. It's like, not exactly. She literally talked about it in her 24 where she felt like she was stressed out and she was overworked. And then she came back and she actually lost a couple of matches in the title picture back to back, putting over Becky Lynch. So she's not always about winning. And if you think about it, she's literally held the title in WWE, what was it, 5-6 times, and she dropped it like 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 6 of those times with the one lengthy run that she had, ultimately putting over Bianca Belair at WrestleMania. So the girl definitely has no issues with losing. I think for her to lose though, it just has to make sense from a storyline standpoint, and that makes sense for anybody's character. You know, CM Punk was saying the same thing when he turned babyface and he was losing all these matches back to back to back, these big feuds, right? He's like, hey man, my stock is plummeting. You know, he lost to Brock Lesnar. He had lost, I can't even remember all the matches he lost, bro, but he lost, most notably the one, he lost to Triple H. He lost to Brock Lesnar. He lost, you know, all these other matches up that whole, pretty much like that year, almost until like the end of it where they started having him feuding with the Shield and things like that. He did win, you know, like singles matches, but his point was the big storylines was the ones that he was losing the most on. If she really is one of the highest paid people and she wanted to get the bag, bro, you're not young forever. You know what I mean? Like, I look at it as get your money up, and then go back to WWE when you're done if you feel like it. You know, I know that's where she ultimately wants to be. And she even said it herself. She was going to go back there anyway. And then she got invited and then, you know, I guess communicate stopped, which is something that we heard from Fightful last year? Yeah, last year anyway, where they were like, oh, there was communication between Mercedes and blah, blah, blah. And then out of nowhere it stopped. And now we know why. It was because she explained it here. You know, she was invited by Tony Khan, and then that was pretty much the end of it. Let me know what you guys think about all this. I think when the time is right, she will do the business. She will drop the titles correctly. I don't think she's going to just quit. I know she's going to have a good match with Britt Baker as well. Let me know what you guys think. Are you guys going to watch All In, Britt Baker versus Mercedes? Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching there. Peace out.